Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Wake and Take. It's your boy Jason, and we've got some football to talk about today. We've got a couple updates surrounding Rashee Rice, a couple updates surrounding Stefon Diggs. We've got some other updates just from around the league. And then, as we are getting around the slow news again, decided why not bust out another mock draft, just since a couple things have already changed since the last time we did a mock draft earlier this week. So Wake and Take live mock draft 2.0 after we break down the news. So we've got a good one lined up for you guys. Go ahead, pull out your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And before we get much further and actually into today's episode, I want to give a shout out to one of my best friends, Robbie. He is the reason I have this job. Just a couple years ago, well, a few years ago, he was the one who found PlayerProfiler. And then just over a couple years ago, he found the original job posting from Cody Carpentier, looking for some writers to help out with some stuff. Sent that my way, started writing stuff, and now we're here. So shout out to Robbie for getting the ball rolling for me here at PlayerProfiler. Happy birthday to you, man. I hope you have a great one. And, I'll see you tomorrow, so whatever. But, just wanted to give you a quick little shout out. Everyone say thank you to Robbie, because without him, we would not be having Wake and Take right now. So thanks again, Robbie. Happy birthday. Let's go ahead and talk some football. First off, we had an update with Stefon Diggs and the contract situation. Yesterday, we talked about how the one of the big things that really made me like this trade for the Texans was the fact that, it was either Stefon Diggs has a good season and they can go forward with him because he's under contract for 3 more years. Or if he sucks and you decide you want to move on, they could actually move on from him with 0 dead cap. But I guess as part of the deal for the trade, they actually had to eliminate the rest of the contract. So with this trade, Ian Rappaport has reported that 4 void years will be added to Diggs' deal while moving the guarantee from 2025 to 2024, making him a free agent at the end of this season. Basically, Stefon Diggs just getting paid more money and will now have the ability to test the open market after 1 more year on the Texans. It's a very big win for Stefon Diggs. Huge win for Stefon Diggs. He gets to make more money and he gets to make a decision next season and be able to test the open market. If things go well with the Texans, you can just re-sign with them as well. But either way, really big deal for Stefon Diggs. Great job by him and his agent to get that sneaked into that kind of negotiation. But I'm going to have to say it's kind of an L for the Texans because now you're just kind of taking this massive risk. You're paying him 20-something million bucks. You've already given up a 2nd-round pick next year, and now you don't really have him under contract in case it does go well for the next few seasons. Like, this is it. You've effectively given a 25 2nd-round pick for a 1-year rental on a wide receiver that has already proven to kind of be a locker room issue, which could be an issue for some of these younger teams like the Texans right now. So I really don't like the move after that. Well, I mean, I guess I can't say I don't like the move, but it makes me like the move less. I really liked their ability to be able to move on from Diggs with 0 dead cap, or if things go well, to keep him locked into the team for the next few seasons. So I guess I do have one big takeaway from this. We talked about it yesterday as well. At the end of this year, Nico Collins is also up for a contract extension. And so I would assume that one of the reasons the Texans did this is because they know they're going to have to pay Nico Collins next season, and they want to pay Nico Collins next season. So that's kind of where my head went when I saw this not necessarily being a long-term deal for the Texans. They're definitely going all in this season. They already made that move for Danielle Hunter on the other side. Their defense has gotten better. And now their offense, after getting Joe Mixon, also adds Stefon Diggs. It's just an incredible team right now. They're working on the Super Bowl this season. If they win the Super Bowl, if they make the Super Bowl, even if they just make this year's Super Bowl, this trade was worth it. But I do think that if it gets down to the end of the season, and they lose a playoff game, don't even make it to the Super Bowl, then this was just a big L, because a 2nd-round draft pick is a lot of capital to give up. And they did it for a 30-year-old wide receiver that, won't even be on the team any much longer after next season, and who's already kind of proven to be a guy who wants to get out of a team when things are going well. So I don't know. Very curious to see how this plays out. Definitely makes the trade less exciting and less of a big deal for the Texans. Mostly just a big win for Stefon Diggs with that update. Yeah. let's go ahead and move on to Rashee Rice, as another update came out with him. And we're not going to get super detailed here. We've already had enough about Rashee Rice. And ultimately, my point is still we have no idea really what's going to happen. All we know is what the law is, not necessarily if he's even facing it right now. Like we have no idea. We really have no idea. A lot of it's going to come down to lawyers. And we already know that the NFL is weird when it comes to discipline anyway. So either way, my initial or just overarching point here is that we have no clue. We really have no clue. But the update I have for you guys is that Rashee Rice's lawyer has come out and confirmed that Rashee Rice was the one driving the Lamborghini. The reason this is a big deal is because he will technically should legally be the one kind of held liable for the accident and the hit and run because he was driving the vehicle. So now the issue becomes, is this a felony or not? And that's what we're waiting to see. Rashee Rice's lawyer also came out and said that he's still waiting to see the police report, still waiting to see what the extent of the injuries were of the victims. Once we know that, we'll know a lot more. Again, it's a felony if there were minor injuries, but we're also not even sure what classifies as a minor injury. So it's just, again, it's going to come down to lawyers. It's going to be a weird hullabaloo, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of time even. This lawyer that he got, I've been doing some digging on him. He's actually a well-known Texas politician, a state senator, or maybe even an actual senator. Either way, just a very high-up person in Texas government, and that is, very good for Rashee Rice. He's got himself a good lawyer, but also pretty good for us as fantasy managers if you own him, because that means that guy's probably going to drag this thing on as much as possible, wait for everything to come out, argue as many small details as possible. And I'm sure at this point, it'll probably turn into some sort of plea deal or something. But again, it really depends on how severe those injuries were. And we don't even know that yet. We don't know anything about the police report. There's still so many unknown factors with this that it's hard to give a real take. But all we know is that he has now officially been confirmed as driving the Lamborghini, which is a big deal in terms of legal liability and responsibility that he will have to face. So just stay tuned for more updates on that. I'm not going to go crazy and give any takes on it. Just that's what it is. That's the fact. Let's move on. Gabe Davis. This week, there are a few fun little quotes about a few players. We're going to start here with Gabe Davis. And that is Doug Peterson calling him a Swiss Army knife. Doug Peterson had this to say about Gabe Davis. Gabe is to me like a Swiss Army knife. He can run routes. He gets around 80 targets a year if you add him up. And he was a big part of the offense in Buffalo. His style of play, he's big, runs extremely well, physical as far as blocking. And there's a reason why he's averaged 80 plus targets a year. He's the downfield guy, much like Marvin Jones Jr. in our first year. And then he goes on to kind of say, not the same speed as Calvin Ridley, but can affect the defense in the same way. Looking for someone to play opposite of Zay Jones and kind of mix in with Christian Kirk if necessary. Just excited to have him and work with him. I think he's going to be another key piece to what we're doing, and we're going to be able to put him in positions to block, positions to run, and to run routes. He's strong, he's big, and he's local. Kind of fun that he points out the local thing being from Florida is true. That is true about Gabe Davis. He is a Florida man. But I wanted to go back to the Marvin Jones thing because I think that that's a very interesting comparison. If we'll remember just a couple seasons ago, Marvin Jones Jr. was actually a very usable asset for some of these deeper fantasy leagues. And I think Gabe Davis is just, better than 30-something-year-old Marvin Jones at that point in his career. And that year, Marvin Jones had 832 yards and 4 touchdowns and averaged over 10 fantasy points a game, which was putting him right around wide receiver 38 in terms of points per game. That was a pretty good year for Marvin Jones. And it's eerily similar to Gabe Davis's career high of 836 yards, 11 points per game. So I think that that's well within the range of outcome for Gabe Davis next season. I know we're not a big Gabe Davis fans here at Player Profiler. Even here on Wake and Take, I've never really been a big fan of him. In fact, I flipped him during maximum hype after that 4-touchdown playoff game. But I do really like the landing spot for him in Jacksonville. I can't explain it other than saying I just really, really like it. We have Calvin Ridley now gone. That's over 1,000 yards and 100 targets going that are just available. We've seen now Christian Kirk struggling to stay healthy. We've seen Zay Jones struggle to stay healthy. So there's a ton of potential here for Gabe Davis. And I think a wide receiver like him is someone that Trevor Lawrence would like a lot. he spreads the ball around a lot more than Josh Allen did. Josh Allen was pretty prone to just locking onto Stefon Diggs. We're going to find out now next season if that was a Stefon Diggs thing or a Josh Allen thing. But either way, I think Gabe Davis fits this Jacksonville offense more than he did in Buffalo. And I think we could see Gabe Davis's best season. Yeah, I mean, he's had 6-7 touchdowns the last few years. I think he could get right about that. And he might be able to crack that 1,000 yards if the Jaguars don't draft a good wide receiver. And even if they do, I still think he's going to have some of those spike weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and urge it. Why not get Gabe Davis as a throw-in trades right now? He's only 25 years old. He's had a few good seasons. He's going back to Florida where he's from, and he fits into this offense really, really well. And the player that, the head coach compared him to was a guy who just had 800 yards and averaged over 10 points a game with them, in the twilight of his career. So, and they're paying him a good bit of money, almost $40 million over 3 years. So I don't know, guys. I know that we're not supposed to really like Gabe Davis, and he hasn't really been that good. But, I really see a lot of spike weeks coming again next season, and he's really cheap to acquire, especially if you have Trevor Lawrence. Why not maybe try to get a T-Law Davis stack if you could get it? See if you can get a little throw-in action. I'm really not against it this year. I think the price is right now. He's been really hyped the last few seasons. But now I think, the hype's kind of died down. In fact, people want to get rid of him, but I really do think he could bounce back. And I think he, again, fits this offense pretty well. So Gabe Davis, I see 7 comments. So it definitely, said something. Gabe Davis isn't as fast as Calvin Ridley. Honestly, I should have checked the 40 time. That is just what Doug Peterson said. I don't know actually. So Calvin Ridley 4.43, Gabe Davis 4.54. He's not as fast as Ridley, but still pretty fast. Still a guy who can be used all over the field, and still a guy who, as his coach said, is going to be a Swiss Army knife for them. So interesting person to look into your fantasy football rosters, just kind of round it out there with Gabe Davis, especially in best ball formats. I mean, think about it, guys. At best ball, I'm just saying. We'll go ahead and move on now to... That's actually it in terms of player news, but I have some kind of draft news. The first thing goes with the Chicago Bears. What are they going to do with pick 109? Well, Matt Eberflus has given us an idea, and he said it's important on defense to have that 1-2 punch. He wants to get another defensive piece essentially to pair with Montez Sweat. It could be inside as well or on the edge. You look at who affects the quarterbacks the most, and I would also argue that the inside piece is something that we should be looking at. We need someone with a direct line to the quarterback. We're looking at all pass rushers, inside, outside, all along the line. We're having an open mind in that regard. So, again, I don't think Rome Odunze will be there at pick 109 for them anyway. But if he is, there's still a chance that they go edge. As we know, they brought in Keenan Allen. They already have DJ Moore. They might just look to get a wide receiver later in the draft, maybe pair Caleb Williams with Brendan Rice again in round 2 or 3. But I think with 109, they're going to be looking at best pass rusher available. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in, and we're going to talk about that in the mock in just a couple minutes, which moves us to the Lions, who have also come out and given some insight into what they're thinking with their draft pick. And as usual, Dan Campbell has come out and said best player available. Since we've been here, we've really, been draft the best player available. Don't let we absolutely have to have a linebacker. We absolutely have to have blank. Just go with what you believe is going to fit your team and what you feel like is the best player at the time. Every NFL roster has holes. It's just about getting the right players in the right spots. And so Lions going best player available, which kind of makes sense, especially since they're at the end of the first round, but just good to hear that, they're again, sticking to that strategy. If a good athlete falls to them, they're going to take them regardless of how they fit into their offense or defense. So that's some insight into the Bears and Lions draft picks. Let's go ahead and get ready for my mock draft. But before we do that, let's go ahead and hear a word from Player Profiler.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me. Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add Superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from Player Profiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side. Prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
Definitely go get that Dynasty Dominator app if you haven't yet. And if you're just more of a computer person, then just go check out the Player Profiler all-in package. All of the Dynasty tools that you know and love, including our rankings and more, are available in that all-in package. And right now, if you use promo code JASON, you'll get $20 off the all-in package, which essentially just gives you a free tool when you buy the whole thing. So go ahead and check that out and use my promo code when buying it. You will not regret it. The Player Profiler all-in package gives you everything you need to stay on top of your fantasy leagues and bring home those championships. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the news. Let's go ahead and hop right into a little mock draft before we head out to the weekend, and I'll see you guys Monday. So I'm going to share my screen. As last time, we're going to do it on the Pro Football Network free mock draft tool with free trading. Lots of other sources out there. You know, they're a premium or even a freemium type asset, but not the Pro Football Network. So shout out to them for getting things going. Really appreciate that. Looks like the Zoom setting I had from last time is still there, and I've already started it minutes ago while running that commercial. Hadn't made a pick yet, but we're already here. And so, who's number one? We already know it. It's Caleb Williams. And for the sake of this, I'm going to try, there's some reports coming out that the Patriots aren't looking to trade back at all anymore, or if they do, they want a ton. I still think they could and should, or they should just take a wide receiver, but we're going to go with what we think will actually happen here. So I still think the Commanders are taking Drake May. And for the purpose of this mock draft, we're going to go with the Patriots selecting Jaden Daniels. And again, guys, I don't know if that's the right move. I really think that the Patriots should trade back or go ahead and lock down Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that whatever quarterback they bring in is going to have a very, very tough time. And I don't like the idea of killing a franchise quarterback early. But, you know, sometimes that's just what you have to do. And with the rebuilding franchise, you know, maybe they'll still, even if they draft Jaden Daniels, maybe they'll still throw Jacoby Brissett out there. I don't know if rushing a rookie quarterback to start on this awful football team is really the best path forward. But we've seen it before. We'll probably see it again. And so we'll just go ahead and give Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels to the Patriots. Which, guys, brings us to the Cardinals, and I see no way in hell that they pass up on wide receiver. I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. should be the number one wide receiver in the class. I know a lot of people are out there saying that, you know, now it's Malik Neighbors. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not overthinking it. I'm really not. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't care that we don't have metrics. He's a stud, a massive stud, and he'll be going to the Cardinals. Which leads us to Chargers, and I think they have a very, very interesting spot here for sure. They could definitely trade back if they felt like it. But I really think that they're best served either taking a tackle like Joe Alt or a wide receiver to replace Keenan Allen. Right now, I'm going to go ahead. I really feel like Rome Odunze is one that we should be eyeing here, but that might just be if they trade back. So I don't know if that's really going to be the case. So with everything going on right now, we're going to give them Malik Neighbors. I know that he visited with them recently. We're going to give him Malik Neighbors, which lets the Giants kind of sit here and decide what they want to do. They want wide receiver, and they kind of want quarterback. But I could honestly see a trade back situation here. And again, I think the Broncos want JJ McCarthy. I'm going to keep that in my head. I really like that. I think that's the one. Let's go ahead and say that they just give up 2 firsts. Their number 12 and next year's first for the 6. It was rejected. Okay. I'm very bad at draft pick valuation. I really am. I have no clue what makes a trade good, really at all. So and it doesn't tell you. There we go. Okay. So we add a third there for the Giants. So they get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. The Broncos then get the quarterback of their future, JJ McCarthy, leaving Joe Alt to the Titans. And now the Falcons here have a very interesting spot. I think that they will still trade back, and we're going to go ahead and do this. The Chargers will trade back up with the Falcons. Oops. Where's their number 12? Sorry, not the Chargers. Oops. The Giants. My bad, guys. Ooh, but that does give me an idea. That does give me an idea. Oh man, now I want to restart this. I love mock drafts. I'm having fun here. We're gonna go ahead and have the Giants trading back up, and they're gonna give 12 and I don't know 70. Is that right? Is that right? Is that? Oh no, it isn't right. Oh God. I have no clue, guys. This is awful TV. I have no clue how to make trades work on this thing. But either way, I've got the Falcons trading back, the Giants trading back up. 70 didn't work. So let's try 47. Rejected again. Why doesn't it tell me why? What is wrong? What is wrong with the valuation here? Okay. 12 to 8. 70 didn't work. Let's try 76. Okay, whatever. We're going to just say it. We're just going to say that this is the Titans right now. It's not letting me make a trade. I don't know. I have no clue. The Titans will be giving pick 12 after trading back, or not, Jesus, the Giants. The Giants will be trading to number 8 after trading back from number 6. They'll be trading right back up to draft Rome Odunze. They want a wide receiver, which lets the Bears go ahead and take Dallas Turner, hinting at them wanting that edge earlier. And then the Jets, they'll go ahead and get a tackle as well in Fashanu, which is a very, very good pick. And now the Vikings will be on the clock, kind of just sitting here. What could the Vikings do? Oh, I got to resume the draft. That's what it is. They are sitting here now. They have a lot of different needs, of course. And one of them is corner. So they'll just go ahead and take best corner available. Best corner available going to them. And now the Falcons are on the clock, not the Giants. This is the Falcons picking after they traded back to pick number 12. And they're going to be taking Leatu Latu out of UCLA. Just a great, great athlete right there. And then the Raiders now sitting on the clock. Lots of different decisions here for them. But I think that they will be best served fixing that offensive line at least one more time. And they're going to go with Fontenot out of Washington, which leads us to the Saints, who also could use a tackle. So they'll just go ahead and get Fuaga. And then the Colts sitting here. Lots of different team needs. Lots of them. But an edge rusher or a corner is one. I'm going to give them Quinyon Mitchell, who is a lot of people's number 1 corner in this draft. And now the Seahawks on the clock get their quarterback of the future. I'm not backing away from this one. I think Michael Penix goes to the Seahawks here, or they trade back. But either way, I still think that Michael Penix is getting drafted in the first round. And now the Jaguars on the clock. They could use a lot of different things here. But we'll just go ahead and give them, you know what? Brian Thomas Jr. They're going to add one more wide receiver here, which kind of kills my Gabe Davis hype from a few minutes ago. But I think that if a wide receiver falls to them, they would be remiss to pass that up. And with the Bengals, again, I've got them getting Brock Bowers. I know Cody had them doing that too. We've seen a few mocks with that happening. I really think that Brock Bowers to the Bengals is basically gonna be the one. So yeah. Let's go ahead and now the Rams on the clock at number 19. They actually really need to replace good old Aaron Donald. So let's see. Johnny Newton, he's 304 pounds. Byron Murphy is 297 with just better raw athleticism. So we'll go ahead and give him Byron Murphy. And the Steelers on the clock, they need a tackle, and they love UGA, guys. The Steelers love the dogs. Mike Tomlin goes to the pro day. He's getting Amarius Mims, just a stud at tackle, especially at that pick. And now the Dolphins on the clock. Lots of things that they could use here as well. And I'm going to give them... I'm going to give them a DT. They're going to get Johnny Newton after the Rams pass up. They could help with the defensive line. They could use that help for sure. And then the Eagles, I'm learning from my mistake from the earlier one. They get Jackson Powers Johnson. Just a great pick for them with everything going on. And now the Vikings at 23, they can get themselves some Bo Nix, their quarterback of the future. Everyone's saying they're trading up. They already did. They already did trade up from the second round for pick number 23. And they're going to get whatever quarterback is left sitting there, Michael Penix or Bo Nix. But they want that 5th-year option. They want a quarterback in the first round. And I think it's going to be Mr. Nix out of Oregon. Now the Cowboys on the clock. And let's see. Cowboys. This is lots of different ways that they could go here. But I think all in all, they kind of want themselves a wide receiver. I know I see here on their team needs that it isn't one of them, but I think they could use one. And I think they want one of the Texas guys. We'll give them Adonai Mitchell. Seems like a good wide receiver too, for sure. So yeah. Packers at 25. They could use a lot of things too. Linebacker, corner. We'll give them corner. They're passing a lot right now. They're really leaning into that. So we'll give them Nate Wiggins out of Green Bay. And the Buccaneers get Jared Verse. That's awesome. That's a great landing spot, getting to stay in Florida. The Cardinals at 27. They also really need a wide receiver, right? But they need a couple things. They really do. But I guess since they really do need a wide receiver. I can't believe Keon Coleman is being projected first round right now. I don't know about that. I get if he really is being projected first round, whatever. We'll just go ahead and give him Keon Coleman because I don't think Xavier Worthy is the wide receiver they're targeting. Now, the Buffalo Bills, they're probably upset. The Buffalo Bills might need to trade up at some point, actually. I don't know if 28 is going to be good for them, but at this point in time, I'll go ahead and give them Xavier Worthy. They're happy at 28 getting him for sure. And the Lions sitting there, we just talked about they're going best player available, and they can get Chop Robinson at the end of the draft. They're ecstatic adding to their pass rush with Chop Robinson right there. And now the Ravens on the clock, they need more than a few things. We'll go ahead and give them guard Graham Barton out of Duke. They want to run the ball a bit more with Derrick Henry. They'll get a guard. Let's go ahead and give them Graham Barton. And now the Niners on the clock. They just want themselves a tackle. And I want to say that Tyler Guyton is a bit more versatile than Latham, but Latham being from Alabama, probably just going to be someone that they target a lot. So we'll go Latham there. And then the Chiefs at 32, I think they're going to go corner because I don't think any of these wide receivers, Ladd McConkey, Troy Franklin, Malachi Corley, maybe later in the draft. That could be interesting. But I have them going Kool-Aid McKinstry, which now brings us to round number 2. Boom. All right. Panthers on the clock. They have lots of different needs here, but one of them definitely wide receiver, and they will draft the heir apparent to Adam Thielen with Ladd McConkey. Patriots now on the clock, sitting here, top of the second round. Lots of different things kind of staring them in the face, and they'll just go ahead and get a tackle, help build that offensive line out, get Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. The Cardinals already got Marvin Harrison Jr., so they're sitting here needing, just a few different things. I see guard as one of their needs, so we'll just give them Christian Haynes. And now the Commanders on the clock already got their quarterback. Now they do need a tackle to protect him. Let's go ahead and look at some size. Morgan is 3'11". Sumatea is 326 with 9.4 athleticism. The BYU tackle going to the Commanders. Now the Chargers on the clock. They drafted Malik Neighbors, but they also want offensive line, and they'll get Jordan Morgan. The Titans back on the clock. They've added a wide receiver. They drafted an offensive tackle already, and now they're sitting here needing some help on the offensive line or on the defensive line as well. And they'll get Tavondre Sweat somehow sitting there at the top of the second round still, potentially first round talent. Really great pick there. And now the Panthers back on the clock. They need center, and they're getting Zach Frazier. And the Commanders find themselves sitting out here once again, and they need a safety or an edge. And they will probably sit here, really think about it, and then just take the safety that's been slipping out of the first round, Cooper DeJean. And now the Packers on the clock at 41. They've already got a corner in this mock. So I'm going to give them Tyler Nubin, the safety out of Green Bay. The Texans on the clock. They've made some moves. They're loving how things are standing right now. And they would have loved to be able to get Tavondre Sweat, but they didn't. They could use one more corner for sure. They could maybe add a wide receiver, but I doubt it. So I think they'll actually stick with corner here and go with, I'm going to scroll down. Because I'm honestly surprised that he is so far down. Where is he? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. Where's Sainra still? He is not third, fourth round draft capital. They're reaching at 42. The Texans get Mike Sainra still. And now the Falcons on the clock. They got, who'd they get earlier? I think I gave them an edge. They're technically the Giants here. Yeah, they got Latu Latu. So I think they will add a wide receiver here. So let's see, between Troy Franklin, Malachi Corley, we're just going to give him Troy Franklin. And the Raiders now, they are sitting here. They're wondering. They need a running back, actually. So this could be interesting. This could be first running back off the board territory. I think this is the first time where that looks possible. I really think they're going to add a running back. I really do. So, yeah, let's give him Trey Benson. I really don't think that I really don't think that they want Zamir White to be their only running back. So, anyway, the Saints now on the clock, and we'll just give them an edge rusher. I don't know, that seems very Saints to me. And now the Colts back on the clock. They want a wide receiver. I have no idea what Ricky Pearsall's ADP is right now, but I'm going to give him Ricky Pearsall. I don't know. This is just a second round. It might actually be a third round, but I want to put myself on record, right? The Colts pick Ricky Pearsall in the second or third round, reuniting him with Anthony Richardson. Giants back on the clock. They traded up to get Rome Odunze earlier. They've helped out their offensive line, I believe. No, they didn't. I haven't done that yet. So, yeah, I'm going to help out their offensive line here. Well, actually, no, I won't. There's not a lot of good offensive line here, so we'll just give them corner. Jaguars back on the clock. What did I give them earlier? Brian Thomas Jr. Ooh, that's a really good pick for the Jaguars. I like that. Okay. So they just got wide receiver. They want a corner. They'll get Kamari Lassiter. I like that. Bengals on the clock. And they need to, this is perfect. They need to replace DJ Reader. Rook or Horo is the DT they'll get to replace DJ Reader. What a name. You go from an easy to pronounce defensive tackle, DJ Reader, to Rook or Horo, which is kind of a cool name. And now the Eagles on the clock. And I really like this. Malachi Corley picked to them. They just seem like a team who would want a random gadget player like him. So we're going to move on to the Steelers, who already got offensive tackle. They might literally want to stay here on offensive line, but they might not be able to. So they will probably, I think wide receiver is something they're looking at in second round, but it might have to turn into third round because, well, let's see who's here. Let's give him Roman Wilson. I think his hype has gone too low. Let's give the Steelers Roman Wilson. I think he'd fit that well. Let's see. Go ahead and move to the Rams. I don't remember who they picked earlier. Let me go check. DT, Byron Murphy Jr. So, yeah, we'll get edge. Adisa Isaac. And now the Eagles back on the clock. They just got wide receiver. They already got center. So now they can sit here, be like, and we'll give them Edrin Cooper. They would absolutely love to get, what happened here? Oh, okay. Resume draft. Okay, where'd that linebacker go? Where'd he go? I gave it to him. All right. Browns. All right. We'll give him, yeah, the DT seems fair. That would fit the Browns for sure. Dolphins. I like offensive line for them. Cooper Beebe. Cowboys back on the clock. I think I had them take a wide receiver earlier. I did. Adonai Mitchell. So now they're sitting here, and they're going to get Patrick Paul. The Buccaneers on the clock. Who did I give them earlier? This is bad content right here. Do they not? Jared Verse. Wow, that's awesome. That's a good pick for them. So they already got their edge rusher, and they need another corner. So, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Packers on the clock. Wow. They're going to have to think long and hard here. They'll probably go ahead, search for, I already gave them a corner, right? Did I? No, a safety. or safety and a corner. Safety and corner. So I feel like they might want to go to offense, but maybe not. Maybe, I mean, they're pretty stacked on offense, aren't they? I want to find a linebacker. Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson. I don't know how to think of any trades right there. Oh, good point. Cowboys going running back. Shit. You're right. This ADP is just messing with me, all of these draft positions. But yeah, Charles says Cowboys are going running back, bro. I agree, actually. With 56 instead of Patrick Paul, give them Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks at 56. That is the better pick for them, and I think makes more sense. Team doctor and all that. Texans at 59. Does it? I wish it would show what I've already drafted. That'd be nice. I don't have to keep scrolling. But it was a corner. Oh, I love that pick. And that was it. They don't have a first-round pick. So they've gotten a corner. They've already traded for a wide receiver, so I think they're good. Yeah, we'll give them DT. Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. He's a wrecker. He's really, really good. Bills sitting here. They're going to go double wide receiver. They're going to get Jalen Polk, too. That wide receiver room is abysmal. They're going to double tap. Lions, they got edge rusher last time, but they are really a best player available team. They really, really are. So, I mean, I could see them just going a number of ways here. Edge, corner, DT. I think did I already give them their edge? Let's give them DT. Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. That's perfect. All right. Ravens. They didn't. Did I give them a wide receiver? I did not. Graham Barton. They will definitely go to the well here for wide receiver. Out of these, I'll give him Devontae Walker. I think the NFL is going to like him a lot more than the fantasy football community is right now. And now the 49ers on the clock. They're going to get edge Chris Braswell. The Chiefs back on the clock. I think I gave them a corner. They also want a wide receiver, unfortunately. I think. Well, maybe not. I don't. They could go a number of ways. Actually, yeah. Let's give them Jatavion Sanders. They're going to draft a tight end at the end of the second. And then, yeah, that'll be kind of the, what do you call it? Travis Kelce replacement. So here we go. Here's the full results. I'll scroll really slow. Remember, the Giants and the Falcons are actually swapped here. So this is the Falcons and this is the Giants. It wouldn't let me do it. I couldn't figure it out. Sorry, guys. That's round one. Round two. Very cool. Very, very cool. Fun draft for sure. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around with me. I see a few questions. Let's go ahead and answer those, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Enjoy our weekend and all that. Let's see. Scroll up. Lots of talking here, guys. Thanks for popping off in the chat, as always. Yeah, see, exactly. This is definitely about the Patriots here. Get the Hall of Fame wide receiver. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't overthink it. Let's see. I understand the thinking behind Penix for the Seahawks, but there's no way they spend a third on Howell and a first on Penix when the organizational philosophy doesn't focus on high-cost quarterbacks. Wasn't it like a conditional third, though? Hold on, because I don't think it was a lot. And also, this is a brand new organization. Let's see. They're sending... It looks like they sent a third for Howell, a fourth, and a sixth. So it's I don't think saying that they sent a third for Sam Howell is fair. Yeah, just one of their thirds and a fifth for a fourth and a sixth. So basically just moving back in 2 rounds and getting Sam Howell. So I don't think it's that much of an investment in him at all. I do think if they don't draft quarterback, I'll go ahead and put myself on the record. I think that Sam Howell will end up starting over Geno Smith at some point. But I think, especially since their new offensive coordinator is Michael Penix's offensive coordinator from college, I think that they want Michael Penix. And Seattle, Washington, like the connections are too strong, way too strong. My read on Penix is that he's going to take some time. That's why I think Geno Smith will start. But I think ultimately that's who they want, and he will totally unlock the potential of Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf's ceiling. Where's Rattler going? 3rd round to the Buccaneers. Late 3rd round. Rattler, I don't know where this hype is coming from, guys. Rattler is not that good. I'm serious. I'm very, very serious when I say this. Spencer Rattler is not that good. I have no clue where this hype is coming from for him. It is all coming from the fantasy football community. He was not good at the Senior Bowl, disappointing at the Combine, has no college stats really to back up anything. He will fall in this draft, and he will be a backup, no doubt about it. And I like him being Baker Mayfield's backup because he has a lot of Baker Mayfield in his game. Yeah, cool. I think that's really it. I'll keep scrolling though. Where do you think Blake Corum will go? Second, third round, probably third. It really depends. It's interesting because we're in the fantasy football space. So a lot of what we hear is based on fantasy football. We hype up a lot of these players. Ladd McConkey, for example. I don't really think he's going in the first round. In fact, the more and more I do these mocks, it's really only looking like 4 or 5 wide receivers is going in the first round. And I think that Blake Corum is kind of the opposite, where he's not being hyped because he's just a power between the tackles running back. But the NFL is probably going to love that. And I wouldn't be surprised if a team takes a chance on him early-ish, but I'm thinking probably third round. Just because of the running back market. But either way, definitely going to get high enough draft capital and probably a pretty good landing spot. So cool. So thank you all so much for tuning in. This is another fun episode of Wake and Take. And you guys crushed it as always as the audience. I hope to see you all on Monday, back at our regular time, 10 a.m. Eastern on the Player Profiler, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all Monday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one. Peace.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to PlayerProfiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.